That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you do in circumstances with couples who don't necessarily agree on, let's say, retirement?
Most don't.
Okay.
Most don't. So that would be totally fine. I think the biggest thing is it's funny having an honest conversation about it because this is the reason I kind of started going down this path was every couple I sat in front of had the same exact goals. I'm like, we're all so different. There is no way you all have the same goals. They all want to travel. They all want to have their house paid off. They all want this. And when you actually break it back and go, well, what does traveling look like for you? That's when the conflicts happen, right?
Got
Because
it.
then the husband's like, well, I want to go to Europe. And she's like, I don't want to go to Europe. I want to go to Jamaica and sit on the beach. Like, what's wrong with you? So those kind of conflicts come up, paying for college. Do we pay for the grandkids' college? Do we pay for our kids, college or, upper education? That kind of stuff. That kind of thing happens all the time. I think one of the things that couples need to do is to take a breath, because when we start talking about money, like this source of like stress
Yeah.
ball kind of comes up. If we take a breath and go, okay, we're both on the same side. We want to have a good life. We want to enjoy time together. So we're both trying to get to the same goal. How we come at it is different. Like a lot of times that's the conflict. A lot of times is typically the women in the relationship want to take care of the family and the kids much more as adults than the husbands tend to. Husbands go, we paid for a lot of stuff. You're on your own, buddy. Like we're good. And the wife is still a mom. She's still a caregiver. She still wants to help. And so that can be a huge amount of conflict that happens. And it's about compromise, really. So it's about coming from it and saying, could we pay for this, but maybe not pay for this? Or how do we make sure that we're not favoring one kid over the other and that kind of thing? I think it just comes from some compromise happening,
Yeah.
really. And remembering you're trying to get to the same place.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing to keep in mind, but it's the most important part.